Today is Friday, August 15th, 2025, and this is Spring Office Hours, Season 4, Episode 22, live from KCDC. My name is Dan Vega, Spring Developer Advocate from Broadcom, joined by my good friend and colleague, DaShaun Carter.
In person! Let's go!
All right.
We're doing this.
Hopefully everyone can hear us. We have our mobile setup going with some wireless microphones, so hopefully this is sounding good and looking good. If you're joining us here in the chat, please let us know that you can hear us. That would be really helpful.
I guarantee it won't be the worst audio that we've ever had.
That's true.
These are fancy mics.
Yeah.
Even with all the noise right behind us, I'm certain this won't be the worst audio we've ever had.
Yep.
Thank you for bringing all the setup.
Yeah, no problem. I see a little choppiness too, so hopefully everything's okay there.
All right.
We're at KCDC
We're
again.
at KC. This is a really good conference.
It is. It's a great conference. I always, there's different types of conferences we go to. And I like these types of conferences where there's like so many different tracks and a diverse group of software engineers.
I put KCDC and CodeMash into the same bucket for that reason.
Yeah.
That it's not a single topic. There's multiple tracks. You get insight. I happen to be over here sitting next to the local data science user group here in Kansas City. And having all the different tracks, all the different expertise here, it makes the hallway track that much better.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I think I got some feedback on a session I did yesterday on MCP, and I've known this, but I got to remember this: going to conferences where there is such a diverse group. My talk was on MCP, but towards Java and Spring developers.
Yep.
And I spent the first 30 minutes talking about MCP in general. So I wish I would have written the abstract towards that, like, hey, if you want to learn about MCP, come to this session.
Yeah.
Sure, there'll be some coding examples in Java, but if you don't know Java, that's okay.
Yeah.
You're still going to learn the basics.
Got it.
To cast that wider net, because so many people have come up to me and are like, man, I was going to go to your session, but I saw it was in Java. I'm not a Java developer. I'm like, you still would have learned a lot.
Yep.
So.
That's good to know. That's good to know.
Yeah, you got to do that at these types of conferences.
And surprise, there's a lot of talks on AI.
There is. Not as many as I thought, though. Not as many as I thought. They did a really good job of sprinkling in AI, but not overwhelming you, because I think we're all overwhelmed with it at times. So
I'm not quite overwhelmed yet. I'm not as deep into it yet, but I'm having a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
I'm having a lot of fun with it. So yeah, but plenty of stuff here at KCDC.
Yeah.
We're not quite done. We still have a lot more sessions this afternoon.
We do.
And top-notch conference.
Yeah, and I got to give a talk after this.
And you still have another talk.
So
fantastic.
That should be fun.
I have a different perspective because I'm not giving a talk.
Yeah.
I'm just here. They have these, the community user group are all represented, or they've all been invited, but they have tables set up for all the local user groups. I can see the Women in Cybersecurity, the Google Developer Group, the Postgres user group, ACM is represented, Kansas City Java user group, the data science community. We have a user experience community that's here.
Yeah.
All sorts of communities, all represented with the local volunteers to give the conference a little bit of stuff to take home.
I love that.
Where are they going to go next? They're going to go to one of the user groups and get caught up.
Yeah, that's great. And especially, post-COVID, user groups have suffered. So anything we can do to get the word out about these local groups is really good.
Absolutely. You're also coordinating or help out with the Cleveland user group?
I do, but it's kind of fallen stale. Like, it's tough to keep up.
It's hard to keep up.
What we found is we were downtown before COVID, and that worked out really well because people were down there working. They would just shoot over to the user group. And since people started working remotely, they're in the suburbs now, and I don't want to come downtown to this user group. So we've been kind of throwing around the idea of maybe we should move locations, different places.
Hey, look at this. Our audio's working great. Thank you, Simon,
that's
for that feedback. Yeah.
So good comment.
They explicitly state what it's about, and the language is merely to showcase.
Yep. Speaking of KCDC, I also want to mention our fine folks over to our left here who have been helping organizing this conference. There are many of them.
MVP cast.
They are.
Organizers, for sure.
Starting with Jeff, they do just a great job every year. They've been doing it so long, it's gotten down to a well-oiled machine, but still a lot of work to do every year.
And it has been going on so long. And my understanding is kind of the leadership is kind of being transitioned. So we got the next generation of leadership happening. But still, KCDC is almost a misleading conference name.
Yeah.
Because we have speakers from all over the world. It is a globally recognized conference.
Yeah, I was telling Jeff, one of the organizers of the conference, the organizer right now, as soon as I get that acceptance letter, the first thing I think of is barbecue dinner. Just can't go wrong with there's no such thing as bad barbecue in
when you're in
City.
Kansas City, try the barbecue.
So I was at the speaker dinner and I was just looking around and I was like, wow, I don't know the numbers. I might do this injustice, but I think it was like 185 speakers from 6 different continents. There was a ton of speakers in the room.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of tracks here, and there's a diverse group here. So, as you said, it's amazing to see. And I get this too coming from Cleveland. You get a lot of people kind of poo-poo the Midwest cities and like, oh, why are you going to Kansas City or Cleveland?
Yep.
I love coming to Kansas City. It's a great downtown. Every year, it happens to fall on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Every Thursday, there's these country nights going on.
Yep.
There was some big country concert last night. Very vibrant downtown and just a lot of great places to eat. A lot of fun to be down here. And as I mentioned to you, they're building out the new kind of public square here by the convention center. So I'm excited. Hopefully next year when I'm back, that'll be done.
There you go. Kansas City is definitely on the up and up. It was recently recognized as one of the best places up and coming for tech.
Nice.
So I think Cleveland was also on the list.
I would think so. Yeah.
Things are trending in the right direction. So if you get a chance, come visit Kansas City.
Cool.
What sessions have you seen?
So unfortunately, I've gone to one session because I was both prepping for my MCP talk yesterday, working on another project, which we can talk about in a minute. So I haven't had a ton of time, and I wanted to get to some this morning.
Yep.
But I was making sure all of our equipment was ready for the podcast
Thank
today.
you.
I did get to go to one session by Todd Ginsberg, who is, I believe, a Java champion, if I'm not mistaken.
If he's not, he should be.
If not, he should be. He did a talk on Project Loom.
Okay.
And we all talk about virtual threads in Project Loom because that's kind of the big thing. But he covered structured concurrency and scope values.
Wonderful.
And really went into depth into those, which I don't have a whole lot of knowledge of. So that was really good. I got some good breakdowns of that. And I knew structured concurrency was entering another preview in JDK 25.
Yes.
Scope values is being finalized. I thought that was another preview. So we're at least getting one more of those.
You mentioned Java 25.
Yeah, pretty close.
We're 31 days away.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Right? September 16th?
Yeah.
Is that the release?
Yeah.
It's right around the corner.
Yeah, and he did a lot of live coding examples using structured concurrency and scope values. So if you're interested in that, definitely check out the JDK enhancement proposals. Yeah. You can go ahead and check those out in the JDK 25 preview now.
And I've locked in Billy for the Java 25 release party, after party. Right, they're going to do a live stream for Java 25. You need to check it out because they bring in everybody that's working on the JEPs. They bring them in to talk about the JEPs. Yep. So you need to check that out. And then afterwards, if you didn't check it, or even if you did, you come and watch. We'll have a special episode of Spring Office Hours with Billy Carando to talk about all the things that you missed during the live show. We'll give a recap of all the awesome announcements around Java 25.
Yeah, and it reminded me too, like I do a lot of Spring Talks, obviously, at these conferences, but I want to submit some more just like Java talks. Because I was watching Todd go through some of these exercises, and I'm like, oh man, that looks like a lot of fun. I want to do that.
That's a fantastic idea.
Speaking of JDK 25 and Java, a whole, now once we get into this portion of the summer, I know summer's coming to a close. When football starts,
school starts for us next Tuesday.
School starts for us next Wednesday. I'm like glad the kids are going back to school, but I know like summer's coming to an end. But a whole bunch of CFPs are starting to open up for conferences next year, and I'm like, this is exciting, but also summer's over. So speaking of Java 1 CFP, I think is opening up, or it either is opened up now or it is opening up soon. So that's a conference you definitely want to go to. CodeMesh just opened up today.
Fantastic.
Big favorite of ours. So that's in January of next year. Confu, which is in Montreal, Canada, in the very brittle month of February, but still a beautiful place to visit.
Yeah.
So a whole bunch of CFPs are opening up. If you're interested in submitting CFPs, we have a bunch of experience with this now. And as I just said, I'm constantly learning. I just learned something this week about writing abstracts at these types of conferences.
Yeah.
So if you have questions and you want to submit like Java and Spring abstracts to conferences, please feel free to reach out to us and let us help you out.
I think we put a repository. We have a repository with some of our favorite conferences listed.
Yep.
If you want to go and check, if you're interested in submitting a CFP, check out our repository, our Spring Office Hours repository on GitHub.
And I think like one of the biggest tips I have right now is take advantage of AI, but don't let AI write your entire abstract. I'm reading some abstracts even from this conference, and I'm like, I can kind of pick that out. I use it. I'm not saying don't use it, but like try to formulate your thoughts first on what you want to.
You're absolutely right.
Try to like put your thoughts together first, sketch out a rough abstract, and then use it to like maybe improve the writing, change the tone. If you're not really good at marketing, because part of writing abstracts for CFPs is you're trying to market, like, because you are trying to get picked out of a whole bunch of great speakers and talks. So part of it is like the marketing pitch.
I think some of the biggest value that I got this week, again, hallway track, is how people are using AI to help them in their daily jobs. For us, for writing abstracts, like how people are using it. And I've got some really good tips around how to do that. One of my tips, and it's still this way, is when I'm trying to write something or even email or abstract, I record it and I transcribe it, and then I feed that into my favorite LLM. But I always get my thoughts out first. These are the things that I want to convey. These are the things I'm trying to make, the points I'm trying to make. I would like to do this much of a demo, and I want to show this in the demo. And I just talk it, and I speak it. And then it's in my language, my tone, and then I feed it to the LLM.
Man, transcribing things has been such like I'm going to use an AI word, game changer.
Game changer.
For anytime I see that word, I think AI is right. I know we're kind of bouncing all around, but I just thought of like two kind of big tips.
We don't get to hang out like this very often, so we got to get it all out.
We're just going to ramble. If you guys want to hang out with us, that's great. Two tips that I had for my talk yesterday is, you know me, I love live templates in IntelliJ. It's really hard to live code in an hour because you're trying to cover so much in an hour. Nobody wants to see me type everything out, so I type some things out, but I also use live templates to okay, I created the class, but I'm gonna let the live template like write the record out for me. So I did that a lot. And then in my MCP talk yesterday, I was interacting with large language models a lot. And so in the prompt, you can't just type out a small prompt. You generally want to give it as much information as possible. Nobody wants to see me type that out. So I use Open Whisper to do translate.
Right on. You do that in your demo?
In my demo. So you just kind of hold down a key, and I would like talk out my prompt. And I had like a couple of people ask me like, "How'd you do that?" I'm like, that is like changed everything, because when you prompt these LLMs, again, you got to give it enough information. And trying to type that out is a pain in the butt. I think of it like if me and you were working together in a cubicle, and I like turned over to you and said, "Hey, DaShaun, this is what I'm thinking about this project. Can you go ahead and do this, this, and this?" Like I wouldn't say, "Hey, DaShaun, write a login system."
Right.
I'd be like as descriptive as possible. And I don't want to type those things out. So I found that to be like a huge
Fantastic. Fantastic. I also use Open Web UI. I've been using that. I have that installed on multiple machines. And now I'm realizing like, oh, maybe I don't need it on 5 different machines. I'm hosting it in my home lab. So now I've got one for, this is a new thing. When you share your chat, when you open up your chat GPT and it has all the questions that you've asked, sometimes that can be embarrassing. So what I've done is I've got two. I've got one that's for my technical day job, and I've got another implementation that has all the chat history for the things that I don't want you to see.
What's this red mark on my leg right now?
Exactly.
Yep. I try to hide all those previous chats, because then people be like, "Oh, Dan's not that smart. He was just asking ChatGPT how to write a record in Java."
Exactly.
That's not true, but you get the idea. So having a lot of fun here. I'm hoping to catch some sessions after lunch today. I've got my talk on Spring Boot 3. Speaking of, we'll dive into this a little bit today.
Spring Boot 3? We're still talking about Spring Boot 3?
We're moving to Spring Boot 4 and Spring Framework 7 in November. So in
It's
this
right around the
talk,
corner.
I said, let me take a look at all my favorite features in the 3.x line as we start to make our way towards Spring Boot 4.
Can you, I've had to do this a couple of times recently. Can you tell me your favorite features of 3.0, 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, 3.4, 3.5?
If you give me my slides, yes.
You have it.
I have like slides for every version.
Can you do it off the top?
Yeah, I mean, I can.
Or even one.
Well, 3.2 sticks out to me as my favorite release, and I'll say this in the presentation today because we got virtual thread support.
Okay.
We got the new REST client support. We got the new JDBC client support, new observability features. So 3.2 is definitely like my favorite release in the 3.x line.
Fantastic.
But yeah, I mean, things from like Docker Compose and test container support.
In 3.1?
And 3.0, we changed the major to JDK 17.
Yep.
We got Jakarta out of that.
Raw VM.
Raw VM.
Right, that's
native
my
IMs,
sweet spot.
AOT,
all those things.
the HTTP client, interface client support there.
3.3, what did we get?
3.3 was not structured logging. That was 3.4. 3.3, did we get the SBOM support?
SBOM.
Yeah,
that's my favorite.
I'm gonna give a demo of the SBOM support.
We also got the SSL
bundling.
handling. Yep, SSL bundling.
Yep.
What else did we get in 3.3? Those are the ones that I've used the most.
If I have my slides, I can tell you.
How about 3.4?
3.4 structured logging. Yep. I'm giving a demo on that. That was pretty big. And then 3.5, I'm showing off the environment variable support.
Okay.
So if you want to inject some environment variables into your properties, you could do so through like an environment variable. And this is great for loading it into like different systems. Like I have some CI/CD that needs to inject some properties. Like I can declare these things like in my class that I want to ask for like an app.message. It's not my application.properties.
Right.
I've injected it through some environment.
Yep.
So that was pretty cool. And 3.5 is the last version.
Last minor
in the 3.x line. So
what else do we get in 3.5? We got a lot of optimizations in 3.5. We closed out a lot of bugs. We did some bean optimizations.
Mm-hmm. Was fallback loading in there?
Yes.
Somewhere 3 to 4, 3.5, yeah. So the opposite of an at primary bean declaration, you can say if no beans are available, here's the fallback bean. So yeah, it's 3.x has been, I remember 2, but I don't remember all of the features in 2.x. 3 has been just such a huge release from everything from 3.0 now to 3.5. So I can't wait to see 4.0.
So looking ahead to 4.0.
Yes.
What do you see?
Well, first
what are you
off,
looking forward to?
What I'm really excited about, and so at the end of this talk, I have like 10 minutes to just cover like what's coming in Spring Boot 4. And so we'll mention some of the things. One of the most exciting parts, though, is if you go to start.spring.io right now, there is a milestone 1.
We can take it for a spin.
4.0. So you can start taking this stuff for a spin right now.
I'm pretty sure our teammate Josh is already doing his demos with 4.0.
I saw that. Yep. So yeah, there's a lot. One of the things I'm going to demo is that HTTP interface client support that came in 3.0. There was a way that you had to configure some things, like you had to configure an HTTP service factory and then create a client from that. That gets really simplified in 4.0.
Fantastic.
You can just use an HTTP service factory annotation, and you don't have to write that kind of boilerplate code, which is really nice.
Simon's talking about the task decorator changes in 4.0.
Oh, nice.
Yes, we absolutely had the test container support, test container developer mode. And Josh isn't the only one.
JSpecify is a big one coming.
JSpecify
in 4.0. You're going to be talking on that next week.
I will be talking about that.
2 weeks.
Not next week, 2 weeks, at Spring 1.
Yep.
I will be delivering 2 sessions on null awareness, nullability. That's coming in Spring Framework 7. And not just Spring Framework, all the projects.
That is the big thing.
Are taking this.
And I think we've talked about this before, but when the team decides to move to something like this, it's not just Spring Framework and Spring Boot.
Right.
All of the ecosystem has to pick that up.
Yes.
And that's a big change.
And it's not easy. But I can say from this side, and you can go and see it, right? This is an open source project. You can go see how fast this stuff is moving, and you can see these new milestone releases that have this JSpecify and null away support being delivered.
They called
You can
this
see
the
it.
$1 billion mistake. Huh?
The $1 billion mistake. And I get questions like, hey, what about nullability? What about this?
Yes.
What's happening? We're making the changes in Spring. There's not null safety in Java yet.
Right.
But that's planned. It's coming.
There are JEPs out there for that you can start looking at now. Yeah.
And I think Simon's going to remind me, it's not, I guess, Project Panama. Is that right?
Is it Panama or Valhalla? I don't know. I get them mixed up.
I get it mixed up too. But it's coming. And the Spring team is just trying to make it a little bit easier.
We should ask
Get
Billy.
us one less thing to be annoyed about going to production and running into null pointer exceptions.
Yeah, it is something we all deal with as Java developers, and hopefully it gets a little bit easier. And I think what I like about this is, from a Spring framework perspective, we've had support for this through some annotations. They were based on JSR 305, but it wasn't something that the rest of the Java community was using.
Yeah.
And now it feels like with JSpecify, at least until it's baked into the JDK, this is something a lot of projects in the ecosystem are using.
Yeah.
So if we jump over to some other project, we'll be used to JSpecify.
So, and that also, we have to think about all the other dependencies that we pull in, because it doesn't matter if we've got this null safety. If we're pulling in a dependency and it's not doing anything about null safety, then we're just kind of not covering it all. So it's trending in the right direction.
I actually had a chance. One of the things I do on plane rides now is I have YouTube Premium, so I can download videos. So I download a bunch of talks.
Yep.
I'm such a nerd. I'm watching talks on the plane.
You're not the only one.
And I caught Sebastian Deleuze's talk from Spring I/O on JSpecify.
Good.
So that was kind of opening. The other thing with that is there's some good tooling around it. What is it? Nullaway?
Nullaway. Yep.
So you can include this in your builds now, and it'll basically look at those annotations and then say ooh, there's a potential problem that might happen in production that you want to catch now.
Absolutely. What else is coming? I have one more thing that I'm really excited about in Spring Boot 4.
Well, another talk that I got to watch was Rasen Stoyachevic's API versioning talk from Spring I/O.
Okay.
And so that's coming in Spring Boot 4. And it was interesting. He opened up with kind of, all right, is this something we need? Because some of there are two sides to this. A lot of people say, I think famously that you shouldn't version your APIs. But in the real world, we do version our APIs. So what's the balance there?
Yeah.
And so I think the approach that the Spring team has taken is if you just need to add some new features, minor updates to it, there's ways that you can define a version in a request header, in a request param. But if you need to completely create a new version and have a /v2, we can support that as well.
Rasen is also the lead around Spring for GraphQL, right?
Yeah, he is in web, GraphQL. I mean, he's all over the place.
So in my head, it makes sense. If you understand GraphQL, if you've been using GraphQL, if you've already lived through the pain of delivering APIs to internal or external customers, and having to deal with that, that's one of the things that GraphQL solves. Yeah. Right. It made it so I didn't have to release a new version of my API in order to deliver some new functionality.
Right.
We got a lot of benefit there.
Yep.
So in my head, it kind of connects the dots. It makes sense that Rasen is kind of having this kind of conversation around versioning APIs.
And listening to him talk about weighing the benefits of this, it's clear that somebody may have suggested this as an improvement, but they don't just go off and add this to Spring Framework, right?
Right.
There's a lot of thought that goes into this, and I appreciate that.
So this is something that you might not understand about the Spring team. The Spring team doesn't make things up as hey, here, we've come up with a new way to do things. The Spring team actually has interviews with customers. They're getting product feedback with customers, and you're aware that the Spring ecosystem is used in most of the global 2,000 customers, enterprise customers around the world. They're using these tools, and when they've got problems, we're getting feedback from them. The Spring team is working with these large companies, large enterprises, to get feedback in how are you doing this? How are you solving this problem? Can we find a nice solution that's going to cover a lot of the big swath make it easier for more people to do.
Right.
And that's a big part that goes beyond just, oh, we're closing issues and releasing new features in the backlog.
Right.
They're actually out doing research to make sure that we're delivering the right capabilities.
Right. Yeah, and you just made me think of something else. Like, I just want to point this out. Like, the Spring framework, Spring Boot, there's so many Spring projects in the ecosystem. You would almost think that there are thousands of engineers working on these projects because they're so big and they're done
I like
so
to
well.
ask our customers, I like to ask when I'm in person, like, how many people do you think are committers, core committers to Spring? It's a massive community. There's a lot of people that have input
outside
and
that do a lot of contributions.
But for core committers, people that are committing to the Spring projects, that number, you'll be surprised at how small that number is.
Yeah, so I just want to say thank you to everyone that is working on all the different projects in the Spring ecosystem. You guys do an amazing job, and much respect for you.
Yeah, give a shout out to your favorite Spring committer. Give them a high five.
Buy them a
right
coffee.
Now, as they're working for Spring Boot 4.0 and Spring Framework 7, everybody is busy.
Yeah.
Everybody is trying to make this, because we've already set the date. It's coming in November, and they're trying to hit that date, and there's a lot of work. So yeah, if you get a chance, give your favorite Spring developer or OSS community contributor, give them a hug.
High five. I love a good high five.
High fives all the way around.
So I have some notes here. Something dropped yesterday on the Spring IL blog. The Spring Framework 7 Milestone 8 is available. So I believe if you're using like Spring Boot Milestone 1, I don't know what's still on start.spring.io because I haven't looked today, but you can go in and change the version of Spring Framework. If you want to update to Milestone 8, there are some really good updates in here. One of which I didn't even know was being worked on, but I'm so happy to see. So if you're writing tests and you want to test like a controller, there's always been the ability to inject a web test client. And it just always felt like, okay, I'm not in the reactive world. I'm in the Spring MVC world. So now I need to include like Webflux to get this web test client. And so now a REST test client has been added to Milestone 8. And this is just huge because like I'm using the REST client everywhere. I just want to use a REST test client in my test. So I was super happy to see that. Some updates to API versioning, so much more. So I'm just looking at the changelog here.
Things I'm excited about. The thing I don't know why I'm excited about it, but the auto configuration module. Up until now, including Spring Boot 3.5, our auto configuration, all the auto configuration for all the Spring projects all exists in one jar, and that jar has gotten large. And my understanding is it's made it a little bit more difficult than it should be to decide what to do based on what's on the class path. Because we have all these options. So now that auto configuration is being split out into modules.
Oh, nice.
So we'll have more libraries. There's more pieces to manage, but we'll be able to make better decisions, hopefully, based on what's on the class path. And we'll have a little bit smaller projects for things that don't have a bunch of Spring project libraries, etc. Included. We don't have to have all the auto configuration for all the things that we haven't included as well. So we'll have a smaller library that we're releasing, and we'll be able to make some better decisions. I think there's a lot more to come out of that with what we'll make coming in the rest of that 4.0 line.
That's great. I got an interesting question here that I don't know if I can, it's not showing up for me. Can you there we go. So here's a question, guys. Can you tell me about how to design MCP servers that wraps an existing API? And this is awesome because this was the topic that came up in my talk yesterday. So one of the things I like to kind of point people to is that an MCP server is not a wrapper around your existing API, because your API could be pretty large. It could have 100 endpoints, and we probably don't want to make all those available in an MCP server. We want to be very selective.
Why don't we want to make them all available?
Because we may not want a large language model to have context on all of those things.
Thank you very much.
So we got to be very, so that's why like when people say, well, it's just kind of like an API. No, it's a protocol for agnostically wrapping these large language models and only making available to them what we want them to have access to. So I would say don't wrap your APIs. Start with a blank MCP server and selectively add tools to it based on what data you want to expose to the large language model.
We are lucky that we get to work with customers around the world. And just to like give you a little bit of, foreshadowing, word of advice, don't go down this road. Don't don't try to wrap your existing APIs as an MCP server. You will run into problems that you don't want or that you don't need. There's a lot of teams, and I think if you did a quick Google search, you'll find there's a lot of existing implementations of just wrap my open API in MCP. There's tons of implementations. Don't do that.
Right.
Don't do that. Just hear me now, listen to me later. Don't do that. You're going to run into problems. Identify what you're trying to do and only expose that, because we already know a lot of our AI solutions that we're taking, especially if you plan on taking this to production, a lot of them aren't quite making it for one reason or another. Don't give your project another reason to not make it to production.
Yeah.
Limit, don't gold plate. You've heard this all before. This is just another paradigm, and make smart decisions. So with that said, what do we do? How do we decide what should we do? Can I combine things? We got to think about what we're trying to make this MCP tool expose.
Right.
And you don't want to expose it all.
Yeah, and you also, I think part of the real benefits of MCP servers is you're putting something into like a reusable module, right? But you're also like exposing only a certain amount of context. So I don't want to like have an MCP server for my company that is calling all these different APIs. One, you're confusing the model on which like tool it should call. But two, the whole point of an MCP server is like, I'm just trying to help provide context on this particular topic. Like I may have a customer's MCP server in my organization, or an orders MCP server, because I don't want to combine all of those things and overwhelm the LLM. I want it to be able to selectively kind of pull that context in, right?
Fantastic.
What else is coming in Spring Boot 4? What haven't we talked about? For all you Kotlin developers out there, big upgrade to 2.x in Kotlin.
Okay.
So I know Kotlin developers were really looking for that. I haven't watched it, but Sebastian Deleuze again, big Kotlin developer.
Also Kotlin champion.
Yep, and he's done at least a couple videos on the improvements for Kotlin in Spring Boot for Spring Framework 7. So if that's your wheelhouse, go ahead and check those out.
I want to backtrack. Rawson's talk about API versioning, was that a Spring I/O talk?
Yes, it was.
Okay, just so that we know, if you want to go watch that like I do, that's a Spring I/O talk.
There are a lot of great talks from Spring I/O, so definitely check out the channel.
To add on, if you get a chance, check out Sebastian Deleuze's talks. They're always great. I always learn so much from him. Check out Sebastian Deleuze's talks.
Yeah, and check out yours next week, 2 weeks. So
yes, if you're going to go to Spring 1.
I mean,
mine is, I'm doing the talk that Sebastian Deleuze can't be in Las Vegas. I'm going to borrow everything that I got from him and try to deliver. If I can get half as good, I'll be ecstatic.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll be talking about JSpecify all the way.
Ooh, wow. Spring 1, right around the corner.
It is right around the corner.
I want to remind everybody.
I'm getting more and more excited about it.
Yeah, me too. I want to remind everyone, if you're going, make sure you register for whatever sessions you want to see, especially the Spring Spotlight, which is our keynote.
Yep.
Make sure you register, because we're going to have a limited number of spots, and we want to make sure we get everybody in there. And that also helps us pick which room we're going to have that in.
Yeah.
And as well as the breakout rooms. The breakout rooms have a fixed size, so if you want to be in those sessions, make sure you go into the VMware Explorer app and register for those sessions.
And if you're watching this show or listening on the podcast, you going to Spring 1, you need to let us know.
Yeah.
We're on the social medias. You need to let us know, because we want to hang out. We want to take a picture, give a high five. We want to see your latest demo. Yeah, look us up. We want to see you there.
It's going to be so much fun.
It is going to be fun.
Can't wait.
I still have a lot of work to do still.
Yeah?
I'm not ready. I still have a lot of work to do.
Well, lucky for me, well, not lucky. So the talk that I gave on MCP here is a similar talk I'm going to be giving in Vegas.
Okay.
But this was an hour. That's 45 minutes. I gotta
no pressure.
Gotta cut some things. I might have to cut out MC Hammer.
Oh. McLovin?
McLovin, MC Hammer.
They're all gone.
They're all gone.
Oh boy. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Maybe I'll wear my parachute pants.
The version of your sock has already been uploaded. Yep, Kotlin 2. These are things that are coming with Spring Boot 4, Spring Framework 7, Spring Boot 4. We're upgrading these next major versions of some of the projects that we depend on, that we rely on.
Speaking of, there is a, if you go on the Spring.io blog, so Spring AI 1.0.1, or is it 1.0.1? Or is it 1.1.0? I think it's 1.0.1.
Oh, let's find out.
A new release came out for Spring AI, but also Mark put together a blog post on the future of Spring AI, talked about the roadmap, what they're kind of focused on. If you're interested in the Spring AI project, definitely go check that blog post out because there are a lot of things coming. One of which I'm hoping to see in the near future with some additions to MCP servers. So
1.0.1.
1.0.1. That's what I thought. So yeah, really good insights into the roadmap of Spring AI. They're marched towards 2.0 already, and that's not. I don't think that's coming soon, but some definite improvements that I'm looking forward to.
Fantastic. Whew. It's nice to stay on the latest and greatest.
It is.
And it's also, if you're enjoying Spring, if you're using Spring, if you fancy yourself an advanced user, look at who's here. Steve Riesenberg.
Oh yeah.
If you fancy yourself a Spring user, an advanced Spring user, you should be trying out these milestone releases.
Mm-hmm.
We want your feedback on the milestone releases. Take them early, take them often.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing because, I think people often confuse contributing to open source with writing lines of code
or docs,
but it's
contributing
so much more.
Feedback.
Yeah, feedback is
valuable
because the Spring team, they're working on a feature. They're in an isolated environment with specific use cases for that feature, and you may be using that feature in a different way that they even thought of.
Here's the thing.
Just you using it in your day-to-day is going to be a huge help.
Oh, here we go. Enough of Spring AI. Time to build ML models. Spring ML. Improve the DL for J. Hey, that's great feedback. That is great feedback. How should I think about the core abstractions and design patterns I should establish before implementing the first MCP server in my Spring? Hence, I can't use Spring AI, I guess. All right, it can be, no, you can use Spring Boot.
Yeah, no, and even
MCP
back
server?
up. So Spring AI, so let's back up. There is, if you go to modelcontextprotocol.io,
okay, that
is the protocol for MCP that was delivered by Anthropic. And I think we forget this, but this just came in November of last year. So
it's not even a year old.
Still fairly new.
But
a lot of traction around it.
Tons of traction. It's everywhere.
Right.
I can go to anyone. We're at a conference.
Yeah.
I can go to any one of these vendors, and they will tell me about their new MCP server.
Yeah. So that's fairly new, but there is a protocol around this. And then there's SDKs for all the different languages out there. For Java, that was donated by the Spring team. So the Spring team worked on the official MCP
On top of all the other things that the Spring team is doing, they're contributing code to other organizations.
God bless you, Christian. So the official MCP SDK for Java, you can use it in both Java and you can use it in Spring. So if you are a Spring developer, you go to start.spring.io. I pick a web dependency because I need things like the JSON object mapper often, or some other web features, and then you just pick Spring, the AI MCP server.
Okay.
So you are using Spring. The nice thing about this is then you're still in the Spring programming model.
Yep.
How you build Spring apps, pretty much the same. You just have the addition of some different APIs from MCP around building tools and resources and prompts. So the way that you build Spring apps today, that's how you build MCP servers in the Spring world. So yes, you can, I would say, if you haven't yet, visit the Spring AI reference documentation. There's a section in there on MCP servers and MCP clients, and then visit Model Context Protocol, go through the docs there. That should be everything you need to get started. The design patterns have already been thought out for you. The Spring team is going to give you those components.
I face this question a lot. Oh, should I go deep on Java before I use Spring? You don't have to go, you don't have to know all the enterprise design patterns. You don't have to know all that before you can get started. My advice to you is get started. Build something. And the documentation provides a bunch of great examples. You've got an idea in your head already. And I don't want you to worry about if you're using the right pattern or not. I want you to build something first. And then the next time you ask a question, tell us the approach that you took and what's the result. And then let's see, did it work or not? Let's see if we need to make any changes. Build something first.
And I think we've talked about this a lot, but as a software developer, my approach has always been get it to work first,
yep,
and then improve upon that.
Yep.
And I think that's one of the ways that we can definitely leverage AI these days is like, I got this thing working. Can you examine my code? Are there any design patterns I should be using here? Is there any way to improve this code?
What a great idea.
And I think that's, just get it to work first. Don't fall into this trap of like the Gang of Four and I got to use all these like fancy things. Like,
yeah,
those are just ways to improve your code and get better as a developer, but get it to work first. And
get it to work.
And then you can improve upon it later.
Yeah.
So.
Good question. Keep them coming. Thank you.
So another big one in the talk yesterday, I wanted to go to this session this morning. It was on MCP security. This is a big one. So I think like, because MCP is so new, one of the things that we've done is we've just started building MCP servers on our local machine. Like, hey, I want to build this tool. I'll build this local MCP server and connect a bunch of different MCP servers. And now I got this workflow working. I think the future of MCP is building these global reusable MCP servers that anybody could take advantage of, especially in the enterprise, right? Like, we're not going to run these on our local machine. We're going to run them within our enterprise.
Yes.
So one thing that becomes crucial of this is security.
Security. And
it's huge.
You know, getting things to production has always been, it's always a fun topic.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's nice. We've got more things that we're taking. Here's the other thing I like to say. There is more code going to production today, and tomorrow there's going to be even more. And with the rise of AI, that's making it so we, as a community, don't know as much about the code that's going to production. There's going to be, a balancing, a correction on how much code goes to production and how much we have to maintain. We have to be able to maintain this code that we're taking to production, and we still got to get stuff to production. We have to keep up with everybody else that's delivering MCP servers. We got to have a nice place to deploy it.
Yeah.
We got to have an easy path. How am I going to keep up? I got to have a nice path to get these MCP servers to production.
Yeah.
And I also need a nice way of maintaining that code.
Yeah.
The last thing I want to do is deliver something that doesn't have the right security, or a new vector is unlocked and I've got to make changes to that MCP server that has access to my APIs, to my other tools, to my file system.
We talked about this on an internal meeting, so I don't think I've said this publicly yet, but I want to get this on the record so I can come back to this a couple years from now. I feel like we are all taking advantage of these productivity tools, which is great. We're shipping more code to production. We're being asked to ship more code to production because of agents and all of these tools that we have. And I feel like there's going to be a correction at some point. We're shipping all of this extra code because we are more productive. Somehow we are losing engineers in certain places.
Yeah.
And I feel like in a year, 2 years, we're going to be asked to bring more humans back into the loop because we have all this code out here and we don't know how to maintain it.
It's going to happen. Not pointing any fingers or saying any names, but executives, leadership is going to realize that the code that they're building their enterprise on top of needs to be maintained. You have to have somebody that knows it, or something's going to happen and you're going to be stuck. I like to say, and I'm quoting Andrew Clay Schaefer when I say this, but I know he got it from somebody else. Survival is not mandatory. All right, and the smart enterprises are going to realize that they've got to maintain their code and they've got to have expertise in-house. Yeah. There's, I think, a good Chitan Rao. He says, Java also should be building vision models, and also given the speed of new pace on DL and AI, Java must make their own indigenous models. If Java supports ML and DL ecosystem, it'll be, I'm not sure I agree with this. I use Olama, and just to talk about these vision models, and you already brought up the DL4J, like we have libraries, the Java ecosystem around ML workloads exists. And not only that, it's high performant. There are a lot of enterprises that are moving their Python workloads over to Java, enterprise Java, for these reasons, because of scale, because that's where the engineers are, because a lot of these workloads, and I'm looking at the data science Kansas City user group, a lot of these workloads that used to be given to data scientists are now being given to Java developers. And it is game changing. It is a game changer. It is happening already. But we have models off the shelf that we can pull down that are trained on vision. I talk a lot about the model that I use. I use Lava, but I think the new Llama 4 also has vision capabilities in it. These are free off the shelf models that I can point at my kid's room and I can say, is this room clean? Describe what's in this room. Describe what you see. These models are already trained with a lot of this vision capability. So come on, like hands up. If you want to talk more about some of your use cases, I invite, like, let's have a conversation about it. I think that you're in a space that I might be able to help. Yeah, I don't want to learn Python either. I want to stay in Java.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with that. And I think there are some enhancements coming to the JDK to help with that. But I will say that
I like that you said that. 2 years ago, I got to speak with some of the team around Java, the team that's looking ahead, trying to figure out what's going to be in Java 30.
Right.
And AI and this data-oriented programming is definitely a key to that. The way that we're delivering things is definitely changing, and they are working on it. Continue.
But I think, at least from Java's perspective, Java is in the enterprise.
Everywhere.
It powers something like 90% of Fortune 500 companies. 95%.
It's got to be 99.
Something bigger for like Fortune 100 companies.
I don't know who that Fortune 500 company is that doesn't have Java in the building. They're lying to themselves.
But yeah, Java is everywhere in the enterprise, and I think from an enterprise standpoint, we're not asking to like build machine models from scratch, and maybe they are. But a lot of the development in the Java space is around building applications. And now they're just being asked to consume these large language models.
Yep.
So now, because of frameworks like Spring AI, we have that ability to do so.
Fantastic.
Project Babylon.
We're here. And let's first have Project Babylon land before tackling that. Understood. Leveraging the FFM. What's the FFM API?
I'm not sure.
Simon, tell me what's the FFM API. I feel like I got something. I'm always getting something to learn from Simon.
Yeah, that's true.
Adar says, there will be job losses already started and short-term pains, but pretty soon using AI will not be a competitive advantage per se. It's what we do with AI that will be the competitive advantage. What is your saying about losing my job to AI?
Oh, well, I think we both say it's not our saying.
Developers aren't going to lose their jobs to AI. They're going to lose their jobs to other developers that are using AI.
Right.
And my perspective on this job thing, I don't think that's necessarily a job loss. It's jobs are moving. I think there's a lot of there's a new wave of startups that are coming, and there's a lot of people. Maybe the enterprises are shrinking, for other reasons, economics, AI, all the others. But there's also a lot of new job opportunities. There's a lot of new use cases and roles that people are filling.
Yeah.
Because of this change in the market as well.
It's with any new technology. I mean, we're software engineers. We love to tinker. We love to play with new things. I think, we all kind of understood this when we got into this industry, that we would spend a lifetime of learning. And nothing's changed here. We're learning new things, new tools, new ways to do things, and you just got to constantly stay up to date on things.
Yeah. Simon, thanks. The foreign function in memory.
Oh,
API.
yes.
The J&I replacement. Yep.
That's in Project Panama.
Yep. Project Panama.
Cool.
Fantastic.
Well, I see the crowd heading to lunch.
It looks like it's heading to lunch, so it's going to get busy here in a minute. But this was awesome.
It's always fun
I'm
to
so
do this
glad that we
live.
get to hang out.
I wish we could do this more often.
And we're going to see each other here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, we're going to do another live episode.
Let's do another live episode.
Yeah. Now that we got this nice setup, it's worked
I think
out
it
good.
works. Let us know in the chat if this works.
Yeah.
How's the video? How's the audio? Is it working okay? Because it's actually really noisy here.
Yeah.
It's actually really noisy around us. So I hope that the audio is coming through. We have a big, the fans, the ventilation. Oh, I can't turn. The ventilation and stuff is right behind us. But we're happy. We're happy. This is a great conference. They have this nice little area reserved for us with couches and couch and the carpet, and we can do our show. And we're grateful for that.
Yeah.
And it's fun. We got a good community here.
This is great. Well, I'm going to eat some lunch, give my talk, hopefully see a talk or two, and then got to make the long trek home. I don't have a direct flight, so I'm going to get home at like 11:30 at night.
I'm sorry
That
about
is one downfall of
You know what
living
we should
in
have done?
smaller
We should have grabbed Mark Heckler and said, "Hey, can you just drop me off?"
I know, he left this morning at like 9 this morning. They're going to St. Louis. I'm going the other way. So, fun fact, Mark told me that he takes off from the same airport as Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting fact.
That is awesome. Taylor Swift
two
lives
celebrities
right down the road.
I guess Taylor's a little bit bigger, but Mark's pretty
Yeah.
big in my book.
Another fun fact: I drive the same vehicle as Taylor Swift. Just throwing that out there.
Oh, I threw this out on Twitter last couple
Yeah.
days ago.
I said
So
they live right down the street from us.
So
We'll give 'em a
Taylor
call.
did her first podcast ever on the New Heights podcast.
Yep.
With the Kelsey brothers,
Kelsey brothers,
who are from Cleveland, and Kelsey's in Kansas City now. And I said, if she's doing podcasts with
What other
guys from Cleveland and
KC
Kansas,
connection is there?
if you're ready to do your second podcast, Taylor, we would welcome you. And I don't know what we'd talk about, but
I've got 5 Swifties in my house.
I got 4, including.
Right on.
So yeah, a lot of fun. Thanks again to KCDC for having us.
Absolutely.
This has been awesome. Hopefully I'm back again next year. But yeah, we'll see each other in 2 weeks.
Wonderful.
We'll see you there at Spring One, hopefully.
Take care.
All right. Thanks, everyone.